The happy in their bright ether have not heart.
My goodness, that the happy, the gods, in other words, in their bright ether, have not hearts more sweet and true than this of mortal make. Begin reading,
The
yes.
happy, the happy in their bright ether have not hearts more sweet and true than this of mortal make, that takes all joy as the world's native gift, and to all gives joy as the world's natural right.
Yes, very, very interesting statement because this world's natural right, you see, Sri Aurobindo sees the world as right. We don't see it that way. We see all the horrible things that are happening and we see all the darkness, but Sri Aurobindo does not. He sees the world is naturally right and proceeding as it should towards the supramental. So I know that does not coincide too much with at Q, but we also have to see that this. And so Mother says to Champaklal, be simple, be happy, rely on me.
His speech carries a light of inner truth and a large-eyed communion with the power in common things has made veilless his mind, a seer in earth shapes of garbless deity.
Now you have to read those two lines a little bit better. So we'll go over it together. We've done power from the lexicon.
Yes, we have done power.
Okay. So Satyavan's speech, even his speech, carries the light of inner truth, as well as a large-eyed communion with the power in common things has made veilless his mind. So we have to say, and a large-eyed communion with the power in common things has made veilless his mind. He's a deity who doesn't wear any veils. We can use garbless in so many ways. Huh? No,
Yes.
no clothing. Good. So, will you read those four lines again?
Yes. His speech carries the light of inner truth and a large-eyed communion with the power in common things has made veilless his mind, a seer in earth shapes of garbless deity.
We can also call garbless an outward appearance or form as well.
A tranquil breath of sky, windless and still, watching the world like a mind of unplumbed thought,
I
silent,
heard it well.
a silent space, musing and luminous, uncovered by the morning to delight, a green tangle of trees upon a happy hill, made into a murmuring nest by southern winds. These are his images and parallels, his kin in beauty, and in depth his peers.
Breadth here is extension, breadth of something, not breadth, but breadth. And you didn't really pronounce windless, windless.
Windless. Okay.
You pronounce the D in windless. And then we have this beautiful, beautiful description that it, it's he's watching the world like a mind of unplumbed thought. Now, there's a comma after that because Sri Aurobindo wants to continue. describing Satchivan. A silent space, musing and luminous, uncovered by the morning to delight. A green tangle of trees upon a happy hill, made into a murmuring nest by southern winds.
Okay.
So we'll see if that helps at all. We
Yes.
both have our videos off, so we're okay. So now,
Yes.
you see, this silent space that's musing and luminous is uncovered by the morning to delight. Well, we have that delight when we see the first sunrise also. There's no
Yes.
question about it. And one day I want you to see our new flat because you can look down on trees that are in full bloom and look out to the sea as well.
Oh,
It's an
wow.
incredible it's an incredible place. So now he speaks of this green tangle of trees upon a happy hill. And that green tangle of trees is made into a murmuring nest by southern winds. These are his images and parallels. They are also his kin in beauty, his family in beauty, and in depth, his peers. The peers are, of course, people who have equal standing.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we can carry on a little bit.
Yes. A will to climb lifts a delight to live. Heaven's height companion of earth beauty's charm, an aspiration to the immortal's heir, lain on the lap of mortal ecstasy.
He has a will to climb, always because he has a delight to live. He doesn't know that he's going to die in 1 year.
Yes.
He's found Savitri, and it's such a joy. And so Sri Aurobindo is giving that to us also. He's he's heaven's height, a companion of earth beauty's charm. And then he says, an aspiration to the immortal's heir. He has that aspiration to the immortal's heir. Then we go to laying on the lap of mortal ecstasy. Yeah, he he feels he feels this earth and this humanity as mortal ecstasy. You know, if we could all feel that,
Hmm.
life would be so different. Yesterday, of course, was Sadhana's birthday. Again, that word that Sri Aurobindo loves so much, sweetness,
Sweetness.
sweets. It occurs more than 80 times in Savitri. Carry
And
on.
was it has he said it is his favorite word?
Yes,
He
it's
has.
known to be Sri Aurobindo's favorite word, sweetness, sweet.
His sweetness and his joy attract all hearts to live with his own in a glad tenancy. His strength is like a tower built to reach heaven, a godhead quarried from the stones of life.
You see, only Sri Aurobindo can write like this. I mean, this is incredible. His sweetness and his joy, that's Ananda, of course,
Yeah.
attract all hearts to live with his own in a glad tenancy. Well, we know what a tenancy is with people who live together. His strength is like a tower built to reach heaven. It's a godhead quarried from the stones of life. Powerful, powerful. And now he's going to just hint a little bit, just a little hint, but both Ashwapati and the queen are going to catch it. So here we are. Oh loss.
O lost, if death into its elements of which his gracious envelope was built, shatter this babe before it breathes its sweet, as if earth could not keep too long from heaven, a treasure thus unique, loaned by the gods, a being so rare, of so divine a make.
Well, now
Wow.
he's going to tell us. So let's see what he says now. He says if death, huh? He doesn't say death is
Hmm.
going to take him yet, huh? But he
Yes,
will
yes.
tell us that. And then it's a great loss, of course. If death into its elements, of which this gracious, and we usually pronounce it envelope,
Envelope. Okay.
The British pronunciation, and vase
And
is the
is it
usual
okay? It's
British.
vase.
Yeah,
Okay.
usual. Now I'm an American and I hear vase all the time, but I think vase is more beautiful. So let's stay with the British on
All right.
this one.
Envelope and vase.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. So uh, if death should shatter this vase before it breathes its sweets, as if, and here's that, as if again, huh? As if earth could not keep too long from heaven, a treasure thus unique, loaned by the gods, a being so rare, of so divine a make. And there's an exclamation point after that, because he said everything positive about Satyavan so far. But now he's going to hit them pretty hard.
In one brief year, when this bright hour flies back and perches careless on a branch of time, this sovereign glory ends heaven lent to earth. This splendor vanishes from mortal sky. Heaven's greatness came, but was too great to stay.
And this often seems to be the case. I know it specifically with music. I mean, Mozart dying in his 30s, Schubert dying in his 30s, great singers dying in their youth. And it seems that this is a constant, that there are great beings who lend their glory to earth and then they vanish from us. I attended a concert, oh, maybe 5 years back, and I was absolutely astounded by this lady. She was a mezzo soprano, and her singing was so perfect and so beautiful. And I think she might have been in her late 30s or early 40s. And within a year, she was dead. Just, you can't understand these things until you go much higher on the scale of consciousness. So he says, in one brief year, when this bright hour, he called, and now he's speaking specifically, I would say, to the king and queen, but Savitri is there also. So in one brief year, when careless on a branch of time, oh, this sovereign glory ends, heaven lent to earth. You didn't mind right. You said this sovereign glory ends, heaven lent to earth. You almost have to have a comma after ends. You
Okay.
feel it?
Yes.
Good. This, yes, good. This splendor vanishes from the mortal sky, so it's gone from earth. Heaven's greatness came, but was too great to stay. My goodness. Now he's going to tell her tell them, and that's the sentence, the verdict. Okay, carry on.
12 swift-winged months are given to him and her. This day returning, Satyavan must die. A lightning, bright and nude, the sentence says.
Now we're going to hear from the Queen. Note that it is in quotes.
Yes.
She's
But the
speaking,
queen,
but go ahead.
yes, but the queen cried, vain then can be heaven's grace. Heaven mocks us with the brilliance of its gifts. For death is the cup-bearer of the wine of too brief joy held up to mortal lips for a passionate moment by the careless gods.
Wow. Now, we know that the Queen is a brilliant woman, very, very intelligent. But this has hit her heart so powerful. Vain then can be heaven's grace. And there's an exclamation point there. And then she goes on to say, heaven mocks us with the brilliance of its gifts. For death is a cupbearer, because it's the most important of all. And let's end with your reading of that, because
Okay.
no one has ever given us this enlightenment. And Sri Aurobindo speaking about death is so extraordinary.
Sri Aurobindo. For the spiritual seeker, death is only a passage from one form of life to another, and none is dead but only departed. Letters on Yoga.
Isn't it interesting that if one really understood this, and of course I didn't when Mary Helen passed away, there would be no grief.
Yes,
And yet the world is filled with grief. And I see every day practically um, a dead person being, uh, carried on a in a caravan with people behind and in front and playing the loud music, etc.
yes,
Especially in India with so many billion people.
yes.
Okay, we'll carry on.
It, death, has no separate existence by itself. It is only a result of the principle of decay in the body, and that principle is there already. It is part of the physical nature. At the same time, it is not inevitable. If one could have the necessary consciousness and force, decay and death is not inevitable. But to bring that consciousness and force into the whole of the material nature is the most difficult thing of all. At any rate, in such a way as to annul the decay principle. Letters on Yoga. Death is there because the being in the body is not yet developed enough to go on growing in the same body without the need of change, and the body itself is not sufficiently conscious. If the
Mm.
mind and vital and the body itself were more conscious and plastic, death would not be necessary. Letters on Yoga.
Well, there's a lot to say on this one because, when I was here in the 70s and the 60s, um,
Yes,
Mother was telling Satprem of all her experiences of the body. And 4 times a year, the ashram bulletin would be put out. And there would be a passage called On the Way. And Mother was talking about the transformation of the cells of her body. You might have read The Mind of the Cells. Have you?
No, I have not. No, I have
I
not.
would I would strongly recommend that. Mind of the Cell.
Oh, okay.
So it's not so easy, but I think you could find it on Narendra Gelot's. Okay, because it is incredible. And what Mother says in there towards the end is that many of the cells in her body were transformed. And she said,
Oh,
anyone around the earth, in all the earth, who was ready, those cells would go into their bodies. And
wow.
I see it so clearly in these children. Oh my goodness. It's just
Which
there.
children?
Yes. Well, like Rishika, uh, Uday and Priya's daughter.
Okay.
Just amazing. You know, Sadalu has told us that he's seen these great changes in the children. And I can just give you a few things. Number one, when I was born, I was bald. Children today are born with hair.
Yes.
When I was born, my eyes were closed, and it took some time for them to open. These days, the children's eyes are opened immediately. They're open
Yes.
immediately. So there are many other things too that he's talked about, and we can see that this is so much a sign of the new consciousness and the new world. So we have to carry on.
Be thyself immortal, and put not thy faith in death. For death is not of thyself, but of thy body. For the spirit is immortality. Essays divine and human.
Carry on.
Death is the question nature puts continually to life and her reminder to it that it has not yet found itself. If there were no siege of death, the creature would be bound forever in the form of an imperfect living. Pursued by death, he awakes to the idea of perfect life and seeks out its means and its possibilities. Essays in
Oh,
Philosophy and Yoga. Hmm.
yes. Carry on.
We have to face the future's offer of death as well as its offer of life, and it need not alarm us, for it is by constant death to our old names and forms that we shall live most vitally in greater and newer forms and names. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga.
What could be more inspiring than that? Constant death to our old names and forms, that we shall live most vitally in greater and newer forms and names. We may have to take the
Hmm.
leap into the Superman because the mind is sort of an ivory tower. One can't get out of it. Well, let's do one more and then continue next week
Yes.
because this is very long. Good. Okay, death.
We Death has no reality except as a process of life. Disintegration of substance and renewal of substance, maintenance of form and change of form are the constant process of life. Death is merely a rapid disintegration subservient to life's necessity of change and variation of formal experience. Even in the death of the body, there is no cessation of life. Only the material of one form of life is broken up to serve as material for other forms of life, the life divine.
This is, yeah, this is very interesting because, um, Shraddha wanted to be buried
Okay.
because, you see, he says only the material of one form of life is broken up to serve as material for other forms of life. So everything is alive and everything is beautiful and everything is truly divine. And we have to hold on to that because these forces of darkness have no chance. They're
No.
they're at the end. At the end of their potentialities. They're going to go. They have to go.
Yes.
And mother,
Yes.
we know that. Okay.
Yes. I will see you
Namaste.
next week and happy birthday. Namaste, Narad.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Bye.